Hey everybody, welcome to another devlog from Legion Systems, of course, with regards to WARNO. Now, the actual news that we're gonna get this week, pretty minuscule, there's not much to talk about, and I'm gonna keep it short at the beginning, because this week's video is gonna be a tad bit different than previous news roundups. So first of all, we're gonna get the Ka-50, or the Ka-50, or whichever way this was pronounced, the Kamov, whatever. Yeah, cooler. If you played War Game, you're familiar with it. Maybe War Thunder, I don't know what else. We're gonna get it. As to whether it should be in the game or not, I'll talk about after I'm through with the news bit. The actual devlog doesn't actually mention this, but it briefly talks about, for one, MiG-25 models are more or less ready, or almost ready. We're gonna see soon. Briefly talk about, what's gonna come with the next milestone. I don't know, is it LAN? L'année? It's French, right? It's the name of a French general. So I don't know what's... I'm gonna call it Lance. Lance, like Lancelot. They're making a big deal about how they're balancing units, okay. Essentially saying, well, there's a reason as to why it's taking so long. Okay. There's gonna be essentially major price overhauls for every category, starting with specs and planes. Given that they said starting very soon with self-propelled anti-air guns and planes, I assume this devlog was written before the patch introduced them earlier this week. I don't know. Or they're just simply not done with it, which is probably better, because it's not perfect, but it's a good step it's a step in the right direction. And they've also talked about forward deployment that they're gonna take a look at. They are under the impression that it's mainly a recon issue, which I would partially agree with, in the sense that yes, it's a recon issue too, but not mainly. And it honestly has been since it was implemented, and since there were like proper squads like Jäger, Aufklärer, and LRS and recon tab. And then, they essentially say, well, we're gonna take a look at recon, but in our eyes, it's not really an issue for paratroopers. And they say that our airborne troops, be it paratroopers or assault chopper-borne squads, we foresee as less of an issue. After being back on the ground, they're generally more static or only possess very light transports. But that's not the core of the issue. The issue at hand is that with forward deployment, especially in trucks, because it's cheaper, and currently in most 1v1 maps even faster for many areas, you just get so much closer to these important positions. The infantry doesn't need to be mobile anymore. They need to get into the towns, into the forest, after which they don't need to be back in a transport ever again, right? So that's why this argument, oh, they only have trucks, is completely, I'm sorry, kind of bollocks. In fact, it's kind of good that all they get is trucks, or like they have access to trucks, rather, because they're cheap and fast enough. In the case of the LRS, they even get Humvees, which are, I'm pretty sure, faster off-road. Or like on-road as well. Humvee is 108 and 72. Oh no, that's even the exact same. I thought I could have sworn Humvees are faster. Let's see, maybe BTR 60s are faster. UACs are also 108. Right, BTR 60s are in the tank tab, right? God, I hate this system. Yeah, they're not even faster, never mind me. I thought they were. So, I don't think they actually understand the issue. Now, of course, I understand that they want to do something, let's say, special with paratroopers, because in War Game, they weren't really that special. I mean, most of the time they were shocked. I mean, they almost exclusively are shock or elite squads, so that is nice and all. But they didn't have like anything really special going to them, because even non-airborne troops you could also get in helicopters a lot of the times, right? So I understand why they want to do something like that, but forward deployment is just way too strong. I think what might be okay, what might work, if forward deployment only worked with helicopters, which might sound a bit like contradictory in the sense that helicopters should already have the advantage of being faster over long distances, and thus giving them another head start would even increase that advantage. But on the other hand, it would actually make helicopter transport starts at least somewhat viable on smaller maps where they take ages to take off and land, whereas trucks would already have arrived. Anyway, I don't know. I don't think they fully understand the issue, but at the end of the day, we will see. Maybe I'm wrong. Another thing is that I've actually glanced over is we're not gonna get lands on Milestone next week. And next week, Eugene is closed on the Thursday and Friday. It is the 20th and 19th of May. So also no devlog next week. And they said that they would reveal all the good stuff to be brought with lands when they return. Which might mean in 2 weeks, so on the 27th, which means that we would still not get the milestone there. But every now and then there have been devlogs earlier in the week if they released something like a milestone or a patch, in the middle of the week. So I don't know, we'll see, but certainly lands, Lane, whatever, next week. Possibly not even the patch, because I don't think they would patch on a Wednesday if nobody's in the office on Thursday. Maybe a small one on Monday, who knows, but don't expect anything next week. It's fine. They announced it, If they say we're not going to be here next week, that's obviously fine. But that's actually almost all. There's another thing. Apparently, I don't know how anyone can see it from this picture, but whatever. We're going to get the SU-27M with R-77s. So I think from the Instagram. I mean, these are MiG-25s, and those are like bombs. And those are missiles. Presumably seed. But I don't know how anyone can see that those are R-77s from this picture. And, supposedly, I was under the impression, many people also were under the impression that only the USA would get the AIM-120, meaning medium-range fire-and-forget missiles, whereas PACT would be left out. I guess maybe that's not the case, or maybe it is. Maybe it's just a placeholder model, maybe, I don't know, whatever, maybe they modeled the missile wrong. But apparently also in the files, since we have modding now, we can actually take a look at, what weapon stats are already in the game. I know this is a bit scuffed, the screen region, but whatever. And the R-77 is also mentioned there. Again, could be a placeholder, who knows. Now that's already 7.5 minutes, way longer than I thought it would be. The actual news bit. Now I want to briefly talk about the Ka-50 again. But why, Razzmann? Why? Well, quite frankly, also there's been kind of a shitstorm about this. A small shitstorm. It started on... Let me actually see. Just gonna show like the huge in general Discord real quick. The general channel, alright? There's like quite a shitstorm here. It all started yesterday, right? If you wanted to, you can go on the Discord and scroll up. Like long, lengthy discussion about this. Ka-50 and all that. It's so far that this channel actually had to be locked for a bit because it has gotten out of hand. If you go into the feedback channel, it's been long. Like significant. I don't know if significant is the right word, but some feedback. Voice reveal, by the way. Some feedback about why it shouldn't be in a game or why it should, and yada yada yada. I'm not gonna be like here to judge anyone because I believe people most of the time. Well, let me put it this way: I don't know even remotely enough about real life. All the authenticity, the historical, the authenticity. When did that get into service? When was that developed? Yada yada yada. I don't know remotely enough about that to have a qualified opinion on stuff like that. However, as you might have guessed, I'm generally of the opinion, just go wild with it, Eugen. I don't care if this was used in 2020, 2010, 2000. If it fits in the game from a gameplay perspective, is unique enough that it brings flavor, then fucking put it in the game, right? I've always thought that instead of limiting themselves to like 1989 and going with like pseudo-realism, not pseudo-realism, but like trying to be like all realistic and no prototypes and yada yada yada, I think they should lean into it. They should go wild. That's what made Red Dragon great in my eyes. I mean, partially, right? The whole as I've said many times, I love the gameplay that is underneath the whole outer parts. That is like, oh, tanks, oh, planes, oh, military nerds, whatever have you. The underlying gameplay I very much like, and they did go fairly wild with the whole prototypes thing, and I really wish they would have gotten even wilder. So it actually originated even on Reddit before on the Discord. And someone made a post like, "Oh, the non prototypes thing didn't last very long, huh?" There's the Instagram post about the Ka-50, and then there's Matt, explaining why they're gonna. Why is this red and not blue? Why they're doing this, and rush prototypes. Very similar reasoning to prototypes being in war game. Really go. I don't know if that was really the same thing in European escalation, but already in airland battle, right? We had like the T-72 Wilkes, we had the Ka-52 in airland battle as well. Numerous stuff there too. We'll also not get another G11, unfortunately. And then of course, people rightfully or wrongfully, again, I got no horse in this race as to whether it's realistic or not. So you be the judge. People wrote out about, none of these prototypes are like, proper prototypes and whatnot. And I wish this was a real thing, but that's not actually how Eugen operates. If Eugen operated like this, we would get more prototypes, trust me. Yeah, and then of course, I mean, I'm sorry that if you know, if sounds mean to you, but I feel like every time something like this happens, some, of course, not all, and this is just presumably just a minority, right? I very much assume that among US fans, there's probably the same percentage of like crazy fanboys. Among other nation fandoms, is that the right word? It's just that the absolute number of US fans is presumably much higher than of any other nations, so it appears that there's just on a pure number basis also more, let's say, crazy fanboys, to be a bit rude here. But of course, the first comment is, oh yeah, but what about the US? I'm sorry, I just find this funny because it's always been the exact same thing back in Wargame as well. Oh, this nation gets this, but what about the US? The Eugen, what about the US? No, I'm not saying Eugen, or like, I'm not saying there is no basis for this or anything. Again, I have no horse in this, I don't know anything about this, so it might very much be the case that they should get more 84s, more Humvees, more this, more that, and, for realism purposes. No, I'm not trying to say people are wrong, but I just find it funny that they all come out of the woodworks whenever someone gets something nice, or like the prototype like this is unveiled. Oh, but what about this? There's also, of course, been immediately postmates. Oh, remove the Ka-50. And Eugen is like, nah, we won't. And I made a troll post. Sorry, I'm not gonna toot my own horn here, but I just found this way too funny to not use. Where I essentially said, why not add the Ka-52 as well? While the shitstorm is going on, then you only have one shitstorm to deal with. It didn't work out. Was worth a try, I guess. Kind of a cowardice move. But yeah. I'm only really showing the more or less civilized comments. There have been, frankly, some pretty rude comments as well. Like, quite insulting, honestly. Luckily, and it's kind of sad that I have to mention this, luckily no death threats or anything along those lines. But, some people, in my eyes, definitely do go overboard. And, if you know me, I get whiny about the game. I get frustrated. But as much as I sound like a toddler, I'd like to think that I never like go overboard with like actually insulting Eugen. I question their decisions and like with the devlog, question their judgment when it comes to what makes forward deployment OP. But I like don't call them names or like accuse them of like being intentionally malicious or anything like that. That to me just goes too far. So yeah, I'm as fun as the drama is, some people just straight up go overboard in my eyes. But that's not what I'm here about. Anyway, it's still kind of fun to observe the drama, honestly. Go check the WARNO subreddit. There's quite some gems in there. I've hidden most of the comments just because I only want to showcase some of them here. But yeah, that's it. Let me know what you think. I think the Ka-50 also kind of overshadowed the whole R77 thing. like these missiles, if that's really true. I mean, it's in the files. We have the stats for the missiles or the preemptive stats. Yeah. Let me know what you think. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll hopefully see you next time. Bye bye.